Good morning, friends. I came across this video this morning. I studied my girlfriend playing video games for 6 months by Wilson108, which I would highly recommend subscribing to him. I'm gonna have it run on mute in the background, just so you know a little bit about the game. Basically what he did is, he has a girlfriend who has played a bunch of games, like 1 or 2 in her past and in her childhood. There she is, Ellie. And he wanted to see how she does with modern games, but also older games, as a completely inexperienced gamer, pretty much, right? And he made one mistake that he actually admitted himself. One of the first games he gave her was Dark Souls, right? Big mistake. But it also got a lot of insight. But this is all completely void of the point that I'm trying to make today, because you have to watch this video. It's a very wholesome and beautiful video of a girl in this case getting into gaming for the first time, and you see there, you died, going through the same experiences that we had when we were just struggling with the game itself and how it operates, how it works, and basically just with difficulty and enemies and all that. And I just came to realize while watching this video how beautiful it actually is and how wholesome, and I think that gaming should be more like this, honestly. Because you know yourself, if you get, especially if you get into competitive games, let's say Dota or Counter-Strike or whatnot, if you want to play this for the first time, but even if you get into your regular Call of Duty lobby, you just immediately called an asshole that likes to rail his mother and what kind of bullshit you hear there. Because, not just for women, right? Because nobody knew this was single-player games, it wasn't, nobody knew this was a woman there, but anyone getting into gaming, it's just usually a very hostile environment, right? You notice yourself. The first thing you hear when you fail at a game is "get good," right? That's the first thing you hear from people, and you just suck at it, and you gotta be better, and all these kind of things. And I thought, for the longest time, I actually have thought this myself, because I never played Elden Ring because I could not be bothered to play a difficult game. And I don't mean that I'm afraid of the challenge. I have played difficult games on this channel, right? Or also myself in the past. And honestly, I was a successful Counter-Strike player in somewhat successful clans at the time, so I know about struggle and overcoming that. That's not the point. But I'm at this point in my life where I don't care about wasting time beating an irrelevant boss for 10 hours. I just want to get the story. This is what I came for, right? I want to know what the game is about, what kind of story it is there to tell. And what I've noticed there is that people will call you out for it. They will just call you a loser if you don't beat Elden Ring on hard. Then you're not a real gamer, right? This kind of thing. And we see this a lot out there these days. And now I personally don't care what people think of me, and this is also what I highly recommend you sort of establish as your mindset, that you just don't care if people think you're a loser for not beating Elden Ring on hard or whatever Souls-like game there currently is the trend. And I know streamers do this also a lot as a sort of challenge, that they beat this on hard. And I mean, if you know Miss Mika, right, famous streamer, she beat Elden Ring simultaneously playing on the dance pad and the controller, like 2 bosses at the same time, which is just crazy to me. That's all cool, right? I really admire these things, and if someone beats a game or like speedruns and on super difficulty, or doing it without any potions, aid, whatever it is, that's all cool. You do you, right? What I want to advocate for really is, and this is what this video really made me realize, is that we actually make the gaming space easier to get into. And this comes really down to each person themselves, I think. Because we all been there, right? And I always also thought in the past sometimes when someone didn't even understand the basic movements of a game, I was like, dude, what are you doing, man? And especially as an IT guy myself, when I am behind my mother, which is getting old now, right? She's getting close to 70. Actually, she's over 70. Never mind. Sorry, mom. And she has to use the PC, right? And then she goes into Google and starts typing in capital letters, because this is how you type properly. And like, you don't have to use capital letters. The search is going to use it in lowercase anywhere. It doesn't matter, right? Just type it in. Or when she double clicks on the Firefox icon in the start symbol, in the start taskbar, even though you don't have to do it, or double clicks on links on the internet. I'm like, God, you get this sort of It drives you a little bit mad. But at the same time, you have to understand we all started there, right? I mean, we grew up with this, so it was easier for us to adapt it. My son is 5 years old. He's better at mobile phone games than I am, right? Which is kind of crazy. Like, this sort of intuitive to him because he grew up with it. And he mentioned in this very video, now that I see Hollow Knight there, because his girlfriend was actually, as you can see there, she was stuck even understanding that you have to keep pressing the button for a higher jump, right? She just kept hitting it once and did all these lower jumps. She didn't understand how it works. Now, for us gamers, this is completely normal because we've been there for so many times. We know how some basic fundamentals of gaming work. But if you get into this new, you just have no idea. And if we're being honest, don't we want to have more people coming to the gaming sphere and enjoy our passion with us because we know how great these games are? And not just the super hard games or horror games like this, but the stories behind these games and all the joy we had with them, experiencing that for the first time. Like, I'm currently playing Final Fantasy for the first time in my life, right? Final Fantasy VII Remake, that is, on stream. And I'm having an absolute blast with this game. And of course, there are some mechanics I fail to understand, because it's a little bit different than other games. And I can only assume what someone getting new into gaming would feel like when he gets into Dark Souls. And he said it himself. She wasn't so much focused about the bosses because she was still just completely overwhelmed by what is happening around her, right? What she has to do with her character, that she actually has to pull out the sword and shield herself and these kind of things. She just didn't know what any of that meant, right? But don't we just want to have all these people actually enjoy our space? And especially, I know many of you guys, you always talk about you would love to have a gamer girlfriend. But then, at the same time, people are in these lobbies, as soon as a woman is there, they're either hitting on her immediately or calling her out as a bitch or whatnot, or thinking that she sucks just because she's a woman. I mean, what do you expect, right? And it's not just women, it's just guys in general. If someone comes new into the gaming sphere, they are immediately ridiculed for not being perfect at any game and not beating Elden Ring on hard or whatnot, right? And see, she actually beat the boss here, right? So that was amazing. She's not bad. It just takes a little bit to get in these games, right? And I think we all can do a much better job at it. This is one side of it, getting people into the gaming. But I think it also starts outside of it if you just look at the gaming sphere in general, especially also on YouTube. So I'm calling out the content creators there as well. Because you know yourself, there's a lot of videos out there. They're just talking shit on people. Gamers, devs, everyone really. It's a lot of negativity out there. And I understand it from an evolutionary perspective, because if negative things are more intriguing to us, this is a survival mechanism. Because if you think about it, back in the days, if there was some sort of predator out there, and you learn something about that experience, that it is negative and it can kill you, then it is stuck in your mind. It's a survival mechanism. People say the negative things other people do to you stick in your mind much longer, like 5 to even, I think 15 times longer, I don't even know, than positive things. You need about 100 good little things someone does to you to make up for something really bad they did, right? And so I understand this entirely. Basically, YouTube is just following human psychology, that these videos do better. And I'm very guilty of this because I did this in the past a lot myself. I had an entire channel dedicated to talking shit on people that have a different experience in gaming, but also devs, etc. And I'm still doing this sometimes these days, especially in current society. You know it yourself. And some of it is, of course, warranted, right? We should not stop complaining about bad games, unfinished games, like current Borderlands 4 performance. Obviously, we are here to call out, forgot his name, Randy, right? Who made the game, like director of the game, on his bullshit. He's now telling people that they just need better hardware, right? Which is just bullshit. And of course, we should call out these things, but we also got to be honest with ourselves that there is a lot of negative content around gaming. It's not all of it, obviously, but there is a lot. And from ourselves, not just from other people telling us that video games make us violent or whatnot, but literally from ourselves and what we put out as content. I get it, some people's livelihood depend on that entirely because they literally build a brand around this. I get that. But if I, for example, think about the Critical Drinker, everyone knows him, right? He makes these videos about movies. And he became very famous with marble falling down to the woke slope and as well as Star Wars, etc. He was basically talking shit on everyone. But I have noticed that it didn't consume him. Because there is still, when there's an actual good movie out there, he will put out a video that praises this movie a lot. And when there's people that are doing good things for the entire genre or the entire category, then he will put out a video praising that. So he isn't consumed by the darkness of constantly just talking shit on people, as I see many other channels do. He's actually doing something great, and he's just being real with what is actually happening. And I think we should be more like that ourselves with gaming itself. If someone like, for example, Ali over here, avid pinata collector apparently, if she's putting the time in to get better at the game, we should praise that, right? She's played 110 hours at this point of games with her boyfriend, so she's taken. I'm sorry, guys. But she's putting in the effort. And that is great. That's what you want. She's learning the games and she's enjoying them also. And now that opened up a whole new sphere of great and amazing stories she can experience and share that passion of ours, with her, for example, or many other people. Maybe she might even recommend this to some of her female friends or whatnot. I don't know, right? But you get the idea. If we want people to enjoy gaming more, we also need to be more open about people getting into the sphere. We can't just keep talking shit on everyone who tries to get in there and making them feel bad about being bad in the beginning, because let's be honest, let's face it, we all sucked at gaming when we started. Nobody started as a super pro who just understood everything in any game. I mean, I started 20 years ago, so I have 20 years of experience ahead of Ellie, for example, getting into it right now, and thousands of hours in gaming. So of course I'm better at this. Of course. If I weren't, that would actually be concerning. So to bring this to an end, I don't want to make it too long. His videos, definitely check it out. It's a great video, right? I'm going to link it also in the description below. And also the message he has behind the video. So watch it yourself. It's amazing. But it made me realize that we actually should be more positive with gaming in general. What we put out, the content we create, and especially with people that come into it. I know that anonymity in the internet and in your lobbies helps people to show their true character. Like if anyone, like a 14-year-old guy is calling out women in the Call of Duty lobby, of course, he just doesn't know better, right? It's just puberty and all that trash. I get it. But there's also a lot of people that are openly against anyone getting into the sphere. And I don't even understand this, because isn't this what you want? That more people play the games and enjoy these stories? So yeah, I would love to see more wholesome content like this. And celebrating like he did there, celebrating your girlfriend or any woman, any guy, it doesn't really matter about gender at all. Anyone who comes new into the genre is celebrating that they actually take the time to get to learn these mechanics and actually then beat them and get it going and have fun with it. Shouldn't we all support that? I think. Anyway, let me know what you think of it in the comments. And thanks Wilson108 for this. Yeah, she beat the boss. See it, that smile, that enjoyment. Don't we know all that when you actually beat the boss for the first time? So yeah, we should have way more of this. So let me know what you think of it in the comments. I will see you guys next video. Until then, be nice to people. All right, it's not that difficult.